Hi, good evening. Welcome. It is that time again, the last Thursday of the month. Can you believe we have already reached the end of June? Where does time go? It is the Global Health and Wellbeing Café. What we do here is share happiness habits. Before I start, I'm just going to take you through. Oh no, I'm going to say I'm so happy I'm here. You're here. I'm so happy I'm here, but I'm so happy you're here. It's because I said it to them off the recording. But yeah, great to have you here with us. If you're watching the replay, then thank you for tuning in. All right, so just a little bit of etiquette for those of you who are on the call with me live. The presentation is being recorded because I do have people, for whatever reason, they cannot make the live session, so the recording is available. If you're not comfortable with your image being on the screen, then you are quite welcome to turn your video off. And if you don't mind keeping your microphone on mute, the session that I'm going to do and also the guest speaker, we will be allowing questions within those sessions. So you will be able to take yourself off mute. And the call's going to last until around 9:30. All right, so let's begin. So I always like to start the session with expectations. I know we have a new beautiful face on the call with us, Karen. We've got Susan, we've got our guest speaker. We've got Dorothy. Hey, Dorothy. So I just want to check in with anyone who's here for the first time, just to really get an understanding of what your expectations are. And of course, Susan and Dorothy, you've supported this session since the beginning, and Dorothy came to the live events, so it's always good to know what's keeping you returning. So anybody can jump in and start there. What are your expectations for tonight?
Well, this is about sleep. So learning techniques and for better quality of sleep.
That's brilliant. Thank you. Well, we have our guest speaker looking absolutely beautiful and glamorous as ever. Frances is here with us, and I know she's got some great myths that she wants to bust, and also she wants to share some insights as well. And Dorothy, great to see you again.
Hi, Vanessa.
Hi.
Hi.
What are your expectations of the evening?
Oh, I don't know. I mean, they just have a fun night out.
Well, we always say night out, but we're in.
Have a yeah, exactly.
Brilliant to see you. All right then. Okay, so for those of you who don't know, my name is Vanessa-Mary. I'm a lifestyle coach working with women and mums in particular to help you to help yourself. And by doing that, I aim to help you to raise your confidence. And welcome Marie, who's just come onto the line with us. Welcome. So just to let you know about my vision, as I said, I'm supporting women. And when I say women, it is actually families. As you can see, these photographs, particularly the one in the middle, was taken with some mums who I organised a Mummy and Me session with. And I end up supporting families as well. So if, you know, when we get to know each other, it's the focus is on you as the woman. But as you start to tell me about other members of your family, if I can help them, then I'd be delighted to. And I've also set up a women's education and empowerment group to help women to start standing in your sovereignty. If you're wanting to know more information about these different things that I do, I actually can direct you to my website, and you'll see a link at the bottom to a monthly giveaway. And that's just to really encourage you to help me to spread the word. So I'm going to share the links with you in the chat later. I can't do it at the moment because the screen's on. All right, so this is your time to speak. I'd like to know how the past month has gone for you. I've literally just said before we've recorded that June has gone past so quickly. I think it has. But I'd love to hear if you wanted to talk about any of the points that I've put on the screen. It would just be really fantastic if we can reflect before we start thinking about July. So has anybody got any highlights, particularly around health, that you're willing to share with the group?
Well, I've been doing some tone zone classes in another class at a local leisure centre.
Brilliant. Fantastic. What was the class there again, please, Karen? I don't think I'm familiar with that.
It's called Tone Zone.
Oh, for specific areas then. Brilliant. Okay, so you're keeping up with your healthy, active lifestyle. Anybody else wanting to share highlights from June at all?
I've been eating less.
Okay.
Doing portion control, Vanessa.
Brilliant. Well done, Susan. Okay. I'll just let you know that myself, I did focus on doing more cardio work in June. So like Karen, got into a class rather than just going to the gym to do weights. And that was really beneficial because it was more about social interaction as well. So I love that. And I will be continuing as I move forward with my healthy, active lifestyle. So let's talk about where we want to place our focus in July. Anybody thinking about what they're wanting to improve in the month ahead?
More like social interaction with people, because now that the restrictions and they've had my second vaccine.
Brilliant, well done. Okay, so Susan, you've got your mic off.
Oh, I've my running slipped a little bit in June, so I want to concentrate on that in July.
Fantastic, well done. I mean, it's all about us looking ahead, setting goals, and sometimes we don't always achieve what we set out to, but if you know where you're wanting to go, it always helps you to try and stay focused. Now, this is a focused activity that I'm going to tell you about. My vision, as I said, is about empowering women, but I also want to support children. I have 2 grown-up offspring. I have grandbabies, 2 of them, and I have a little toddler as well. Thankfully, his dad is just amazing with him, so he is upstairs being settled, ready for bed. But I think about the toddlers, the little ones who unfortunately are not in the position that my little one is in. And I will be doing a charity event to raise money for the Herbalife Nutrition Foundation. So this is helping children who may be coming from disadvantaged backgrounds to actually get access to great nutrition. And also, I'm going to be raising funds for a charity called Aid to Gambia. And that charity is being run by a local man here in Nottingham who's been working, sending different pieces of equipment, clothing, baby milk, all sorts of things over to Gambia for the last 15 years. So I'm so excited. And it's starting on Saturday. So the regulars have heard me talking about this for a few months now. But yes, it's a 10,000 steps a day challenge for 30 days, starting on Saturday. Now, 10,000 steps, it would be, you know, my absolute dream to really smash this, because there was a point where easily I was doing 10,000 steps. But just to put it into context, why I've chosen this challenge, I'm working from home. And I do find that I'm sometimes not as active in terms of just moving stepwise as I was before the restrictions. So it's going to give me a reason to really stay focused and keep moving. So that starts on Saturday. Now, we'll be asking people to sponsor me, and that's going to be done via my email. So if you're not on my email list and you're interested in this, then that is the email address. I can add you into the contact list, and even a small donation of £2, £5, whatever you can afford, it would be great, just to raise some funds for those children. But let's talk about tonight. Well, we always start the session with some personal development, and then we move on to the guest speaker. So this evening we have the beautiful Frances Taylor, who's a sleep expert, and she's here to give a short talk for us. Then we have a 5-minute break. When we come back from the break, I like to tell you a little bit more about where I've come from in terms of my own transformation. And it's not just the physical transformation, it's also what I would call the mental and spiritual transformation as well. And then we talk about health hacks. We will be doing a raffle. Now, the raffle is still open until 9 o'clock, so you do have plenty of time. Again, if you haven't put your raffle ticket in, I will post the link to the raffle ticket when I've stopped the share on this video here. Then I'm going to tell you about one of the products that I distribute on behalf of Herbalife Nutrition. And I have a big announcement this evening, which I'm so excited to share. And then if you want to stay with us, we do have a chat. It's not recorded, but we just kind of get to know each other after the recording's finished. So it gives you a chance to network. So starting with the what we're calling the personal development side, this is called Change Your Mindset to Change Your Life. Just one moment, please. Okay. Right. Oops. It's gone. All right. Change your mindset to change your life. There's a photograph taken of myself and my little one. Not sure how old he was, but it was when I was running the Mummy and Me Health Club. And I've chosen the quote this evening, which is about nature. And nature is operating in two ways. It's either growth or contribution. And the topic that I would like to talk to you about briefly is learning how to stay in alignment with who you really are. So obviously, you know, we've all got our lives. Hopefully we're feeling happy, we're feeling healthy. But there's certain things that we will be wanting to achieve in our life, and it's all about being in alignment with who you really are. Now, for some, you may find that you are still looking for answers. You may be wanting to know what your purpose is. You may be in the middle of maybe changing your career. There could be lots of different things happening in your life. What I wanted to share is about the movie. Now, I hope you can resonate with this, but we're all in a movie, okay? And the main star of the movie is you. So in your movie, you are the star. You can write the script. You can put in your extras. You can, you're in control. But a lot of us don't actually realize that we can create the world that we want to live in. Now, for those of you that have been working with me in the coaching group, you know that I touch on metaphysical topics where we're talking about the law of attraction, we're talking about the law of vibration, we're talking about how our emotions and our thoughts are all matched up and how we really have to stay focused on how we're feeling, because how we feel really has an impact on what manifests into our life. So this is all about this movie script. Now, part of being in the movie and knowing that you are the star of that film is self-love. You really have to focus on being in love with yourself. Like many people speak about, you know, I want to be in a relationship and be loved and have love, but actually we emit love. So it is an energy that people will feel from you. Now, when it comes to your movie, if you focus on yourself and you give yourself self-love in so many different aspects. So for those of you who've been following this journey of the Health and Wellbeing Cafe, you know that the different guest speakers have come onto this platform and they've shared different happiness techniques, different ways that you can amplify that self-love. The more you work on yourself, the more you are going to see how your world is changing and transforming all the time. What I want to say is, yes, we do have problems in our life. It is part of life, unfortunately. Problems will affect our emotions, but don't well, if Susie was here, she loves to share this with us, but Susie always talks about the fact that we should feel the emotion but not hold on to it. And if you do hold on to those emotions, what you will be doing is actually changing the script of your movie. Now, when it comes to problems, 80% of people that you may spend many, maybe hours, maybe writing text messages or putting it on social media, or if you've got drama in your life, actually 80% of the people who you are expressing these problems to, they don't actually care. I know it sounds harsh. And sadly, 20% of those who are viewing or listening to these problems, they are glad that you're having them. So it's quite a unique situation where we need to adapt and manage different situations. And of course, you are going to have close friends and close family who you know you can share, and they will help you to work things out with. But what I'm trying to express is when we're just focusing on the negative, it doesn't actually help us with our alignment and who we really are and the world we are creating for ourselves. So success breeds success. I would love it if you focus on the positive. And I know it's not easy to focus on the positive 100% of the time because life does happen, as I said. But here's an exercise. Now, we may not have time to go through this right now. If you've got a pen and piece of paper handy, just maybe take a note of this. It's something that I'd love for you to do after the session, because once you realize where you are successful, you can use this as a tool to get yourself, we're talking about your mental state and your emotional state, back into alignment. Hence the picture of the compass. Okay, so we're talking about success breeds success. You may have heard this term before. And I really want you to focus on your success. So this is a really simple exercise that you can do, where it's just to list 5 areas of success that you've had in the last year. Now, this doesn't matter how small or how big. This isn't about you trying to prove yourself to anybody. This isn't about you being in competition with anybody. This is about you acknowledging your gifts and your talents and actually saying, do you know what? I'm okay. I'm doing really well. And I'm really, really proud of myself. So if you can do that, that will be fantastic. When you have a chance, you can look at your list and you can decide, what is this list telling you about you? How did it feel when you had reached those milestones or goals? Like I said, it could be something that other people may think that's a very small thing, but to you, it was a major, maybe it was a hurdle that you've overcome, maybe it was a challenge, a problem, whatever. So focus on the positive. And if you think about the success in your life, you will attract more success into your life. And remember, we measure success in different ways. So I'm not just talking about, oh, you know, you've got more money or, you know, things like that. We can have success in so many different areas. And that's what I'd love for you to think about. Before I move on, I just want to share a story of my own alignment. And my alignment really focuses around my routine and who I really am. I kind of see myself as I'm still under construction. I'm not the finished product yet, you know, I'm not perfect. There's definitely areas of improvement, but I know that my routine helps me, as I said before, with how I feel about myself. If you feel good, it is going to have an impact on what you actually end up doing. So those actions go on to create the world that you end up living in. So just quickly, my morning routine, I shared this with Frances. We did a podcast interview on Tuesday, and I said, Frances, my morning routine, I don't have a problem with. I'm really happy with it. It involves meditation. Now, I will admit that this week I have fallen asleep during the meditation, but I'm still trying. I like to read a chapter of something uplifting, something positive. When I come downstairs, I do my journaling, and journaling, those of you that are in the group, you'll know I talk about this so much because it is so important for that alignment and focus. My journaling involves not just setting goals, repeating the goals that I've already written. So I'm always looking at those goals. And in fact, this morning, I did change one of my long-term goals because I realized that something that I'd written, it wasn't really quite in alignment. I kind of missed something. So you can always make changes. If I have time, I try to go for an early morning walk, I found this week I haven't hit that. But like I said, it's something that I do aim to do. Now, routines. Okay. A routine I would love to create and stick to is an afternoon routine. And the afternoon routine would be the walking if I haven't achieved it in the morning. Learning Spanish. So I am learning Spanish and I've been doing it in the evening, but it's actually impacting on my evening routine. So I want to move that forward. And spending time with my little one. I don't want him to just see me sitting at this desk. Yeah. So we do lots of things at the weekend, but in the week, I feel like I could be more active. You know, like I said, his dad's very hands-on looking after him, but I want to be more involved in the week. So let's talk about the evening routine, which definitely needs tidying up. And I can see Frances smiling because she knows that I've already expressed a need for help in this area. The evening routine really needs to be very simple. So I can do it, but it needs to be consistent. And for me, it should be reading and going to bed. So that's what I want to share with you this evening about staying in alignment with who you really are. Have a think about what I've said, please. And hopefully once you can reflect on your success and maybe think about your routine as well, put those things together, you will actually see really exciting things happening in your life. Now, this gives me an opportunity to tell you about an area that I love to do. So this is part of my gifts and talents. I have, from the basis of the group that we have here, we've got a coaching group now called My Happiness Habits. And it's a coaching group that happens once a month. And the next session is Thursday, the 1st of July at 8 o'clock on Zoom. Now, this is different in the sense of you can't just come into the group. Before that happens, you have to have had a clarity call with me. So it's a complimentary clarity call. From that call, you will receive an action plan and you'll receive a goal setting sheet. Then you'll be invited into the group for a 14-day complimentary trial. And I have two of my wonderful ladies on the call with me. And I'm so happy and grateful to share this testimonial rather than putting Susan on the spot. Say, Susan, say something nice about the group. But I just love these words that Susan said. You know, I'm not going to read it out to you, but she's actually touched on so many different aspects of the group. And what I'm loving is one of the packages available is called a confidence package. So I went through that session last night, and there was so many downloads because, as I said, I deal with metaphysics as well. I'm a very spiritual coach, and I know when I'm getting divine intervention, I get so excited and I just want to share it. So that definitely happened on the call last night, on the coaching call. So I'm so excited about the future of that group. If it's something that you want to know more about, please get in contact with me. All right then, so I've done enough speaking. It is time for our amazing guest speaker, Frances Taylor, to give us some inspiration and get these myths busted and know how we can improve our sleep so you can sleep, work and live well. I'm just going to stop the share and pass the controls over to Frances. One moment, please.
Thank you, Vanessa-Mary. And we're going to take questions in the chat box, are we?
However you want to do it, Frances. I can navigate the chat box if that's helpful for you, or if
yes, you can. If people want to put things in the chat or raise a hand, and if you keep an eye out for that for me, I'm just I'm not yet able to share my screen.
No, let me do this. Right,
I've got a presentation that I can go through, but I like questions. And at the beginning, I'm just going to ask everybody to let me know how many people have sleeping problems. Let's get the screen.
Oh, sorry, I've done that wrong. I was giving Dorothy, I was making you the host. Did you have your presentation ready?
Sure, she'd be a good host.
She will be. Here you go, Frances.
Okie dokie, I'm the host. Oh, how posh. Right, let me look at right, I just need to check and get it on my screen. Just a second. Let's get there. And let me go back to the beginning. Yep, slideshow from beginning. Now, when I go into share screen, one participant can share at a time. Yeah, so there we are. So I'm hoping you can all see that now.
Yeah, that's coming through.
Okay, so thank you so much, Vanessa-Mary, for asking me to come to your group. I've enjoyed it so much. You know, I've learned, I'm obviously in the personal development and health world, but I've really enjoyed your talk so far and the angle you put in things. So thank you very much. I think we can always learn, even when you think you've done a fair bit of it. There's always more things we can do. So I'm looking forward to sharing my presentation. I think I've got about half an hour, haven't I? I think you said, yeah. And so first of all, just so I get an idea, I wonder whether you wouldn't mind kind of waving if you think you've got a bit, or, no, let's put it this way. Would you mind waving at me if you think your sleep isn't as good as you'd like it to be? Okay, so we've got 1, 2, I can see 2 waves, 3 waves. And then Dorothy and Susan, your sleep's pretty good, I think. Is it a good, you sleep well? And Dorothy, okie dokie. Well, for those of you who sleep well, then this will just be confirming what you already do, because sleep is so much, as Vanessa-Mary has talked about, actually, it's so much about routines and habits, and also it's a lot about mindset. So we're going to be covering some of those points already. So I'm going to be looking first of all at, this is what I'd like to cover, 3 things really, why I call sleep the Cinderella of good health. We're going to look at 3 sleep myths that actually came to me because I have lots of conversations with people who need help with their sleep. And I had this one really interesting conversation with a guy, and he just had all this misinformation about what to do about his sleep. So for me, I think it's really important, especially when you're sleep deprived, that you get good quality advice that you can trust, because otherwise it's just really miserable. If you try something and it doesn't work, then you're even more disappointed and fed up about your sleep. So I'm a real stickler for strategies that work. And so the approaches I use are the ones that are recommended by the health service, being trialed and tested in a really proper way, and bring results. So I'm going to finish the session with 3 insights that actually will improve your sleep. And we will be mentioning, Vanessa-Mary, you'll be pleased to know, this evening routine that a couple of people I think are interested in. So why do I call sleep the Cinderella of good health? Well, it seems to me that if I asked you about diet, you'd probably all know the kind of basics of what makes a good diet, how we need to have plenty of, different colored fruit and vegetables, have 5 a day, that kind of thing, not eat too many high fat, high sugary foods. If I were to ask you about exercise and what we should be doing if we wanted to be healthy in our exercise, then people know, we should be aiming for at least 3 times a week. We should be getting our heart rate up, etc., etc. But when it comes to sleep, and if you've got a sleep problem, people don't really have much of a clue. And that's said with full respect, because the reason is, if you think about it, there's lots of public health messages around diet and exercise, but there's very little you ever see about sleep. So sleep can remain a bit of a mystery. And as I said, people go on the internet and they search for things, and there's some really wacky stuff out there. There is some good stuff, but there's some wacky stuff that just actually won't fix your sleep. It might be nice. For example, one of the things I read the other day was that you needed to eat lots and lots of really expensive fresh cherries. Well, fresh cherries are lovely, but I don't think even if you ate bucket loads of them, it would fix a serious sleep problem. So sleep's the Cinderella of good health. We haven't traditionally in our society given it much priority. And indeed, I don't know whether you've ever come across this, but some people like to boast, I don't need much sleep. We have politicians such as Donald Trump and Margaret Thatcher. Back in the day, they both used to boast that they could survive on just 4 hours a night. And what I'd like to say, if you hear someone say that, or you maybe think to yourself, well, I can get by, I'm one of those people that doesn't need much sleep, then the thing that I hope you'll realize by the end of this talk is that you may be surviving, but you certainly won't be thriving. So let's look at how you actually do get good quality sleep. And the first thing to realize is that actually these days we're a sleep deprived society. So it might be quite interesting for you to know the fact that back in the 1960s, in the UK, the average person, the average working adult or, parent got between 7 and 8.5 hours a night. So that's a really good, healthy amount of sleep, because the recommendations these days are that we should be getting between 7 and 9 hours each a night, every night. And obviously it varies between people, but 7 is the absolute minimum. But these days, the majority or the average that we're getting is less than 7. So we're actually in a sleep-deprived world, living in a sleep-deprived world. So this is really important. This is why I do the work I do, and why it's a really great to have the opportunity here to be on Vanessa-Mary's show, if you like, because it links directly into your whole life. Sleep isn't just something that happens when you get into bed. Sleep actually underpins your whole health and well-being. So we know from studies and from brain scans and from looking at physical health that lack of sleep will affect your emotions, your mood. So you don't have to be a rocket scientist to know that if you don't sleep well, the next day you feel more irritable. We know that if that goes on a long time, then people's memory is affected. And we also know that there's a link between lack of sleep over a long period of time and depression. So sleep affects your mood, and it also affects your brain. So we've got the nice brain in the right-hand side. And we know that when you lack sleep, then the brain cells don't communicate properly. So that's when you get things like brain fog, when your memory and your concentration are affected. And certainly anyone who's learning, so Vanessa-Mary, when you're learning your Spanish, you need to have lots of sleep every night to consolidate learning. So sleep is really important to consolidate learning so that it actually stays with you. And then, of course, sleep affects our physical health. So even just after one short night of sleep, you know, if you've had one bad night's sleep, you will probably experience a rise in blood pressure. Now, just over one night, that's not a big deal. But if you imagine that happening repeatedly, you can see why there is a link, a strong link between lack of sleep, chronic lack of sleep, and, for example, heart disease, because it's so important for the whole of our well-being. So we need to take sleep much more seriously, and we need to have lots of these healthy routines and this nice healthy mindset that Vanessa-Mary has been talking about, so that we really give it the proper attention it needs, and it doesn't get relegated to the thing that we squeeze in at the end of the day when we've done everything else. It needs to become much higher up our priority list. So just a word about typical sleep problems. If you do have poor sleep, then sleep problems manifest themselves, if you like, in one or more of these three areas. Difficulty getting to sleep. So often people feel really sleepy on the sofa, but the minute they get into bed, it's like everything fires up again. And I don't know if that's familiar to you, but it's very, very common. Or you may fall asleep really fast, but then you wake up you know, maybe a few hours later, and you just can't get back to sleep. Or if you do, it takes you hours. Or you could be waking up far too early in the morning and you just can't get back to sleep. And it can be one of those, or it could be all three or a couple of them, and it can change over time. But they are the typical sleep problems. And everyone has their own way, if you like, of having this problem. So everyone has different sort of habits and mindsets that kind of create these three difficulties, if you understand what I'm talking about. So let's look at the three sleep myths. Have we got any chat so far? Are we okay? Do I need to, everybody okay so far? I'll pick up the chat in a minute. So let's look at the three sleep myths. And as I say, people often talking to me about this. So I have so many people that come to me and they're swearing by their sleep apps. And they're saying, you know, my sleep app tells me this, my sleep app tells me that. And I just stop them and I say, why do you actually need a sleep app to tell you how well you slept? Now, it's a good question, isn't it? Because I have people who say, oh, I thought I slept really well last night, but then I looked at my sleep app and it said I'd only had 3 hours of deep sleep, and now I feel rubbish. Well, you would, wouldn't you? Because you've got a piece of kit telling you that you haven't had sufficient quality sleep, and it kind of shifts your belief in yourself, perhaps your confidence or whatever. It changes your mood. But actually, you don't need a sleep app to tell you if you've slept well, because you are actually the best judge. When you wake up in the morning, okay, you might take a little bit of time to come round, but generally, if you're waking up in the morning and by the time you've come round and got out of bed and had a cup of tea, if you feel you've got enough energy and you feel good about the day ahead, you've got enough energy to get through the day, then you don't have a sleep problem, whatever your sleep app tells you. And the only way to really know how much quality sleep you're having is to actually get yourself wired up in a sleep lab where they measure the brain activity, and then they can tell exactly what's happening. But the technology just isn't around for sleep apps at the moment, and I doubt it ever will be. So they tend now at the moment to measure movement or sometimes heart rate. But if you're having a dream, your heart rate might go up. If you're moving around in bed a lot, you might not be awake. You're just kind of one of those people that moves around in bed. So ditch the sleep apps and ask yourself, first of all, you know, am I usually refreshed? And if so, yeah, you don't have a sleep problem. So that's the first myth I'd like to bust. The second myth I'd like to bust is, and again, this is something that I was talking to another chap about this, and he said, oh, you know, I don't sleep very much in the week. I just don't have time. I have long lines at the weekend. Now, as I've mentioned, sleep is really important for day-to-day maintenance, repair, both in terms of our health and our well-being. And we actually need a regular 7 to 9 hours a night, and that's every night. So, one night's sleep deprivation will have an impact, however small. So from the health point of view, we need to be consistent, getting good quality sleep every night. And then if you have a sleep problem and you're constantly changing your bedtime, you're getting up time, and then at the weekends you're doing long lie-ins or naps in the afternoon, then it actually makes it really hard to get into that nice regular habit that we need around sleep, because sleep thrives on consistency. It likes, our sleep drive likes to know when we're going to bed, know when we're getting up, and have that repeated. And it's very easy to get out of a healthy sleep habit and start sleeping irregular hours. So consistency is absolutely key. And if you lie in for a long time on a Sunday morning, then that Sunday night, you're not going to be as tired as you would normally. So you don't go to sleep as quickly, which means that you start Monday morning already feeling a bit behind in terms of sleep. So regular every night is what we need to be aiming for. And my third myth is that, and again, this is a real story where a client said to me, well, you know, when I go to bed, I have work on my mind, and sometimes there's an email or a report that I just really want to, I really can't stop thinking about it. So I may as well just get out of bed, mightn't I, and do it and get my laptop out. Well, it's absolutely true that lying in bed, trying to sleep and getting upset about not being asleep and thinking and planning and worrying and making yourself even more awake, it's absolutely true that that's not good for your sleep, because the more you lie awake worrying, the less likely you are to sleep. And instead of the bed being a nice, restful, relaxing place, the bed becomes a place where you can get quite anxious. And that's that mindset shift that I've been talking about. But if you get out of bed and then you do a piece of work, or I've had people say to me, I'll go and do the ironing or the cleaning or whatever, then you're actually just building a habit which goes, oh, I'm in bed, I can't sleep, I'm starting to worry, I'm going to get out of bed and I'm going to get myself very active, which means that actually you're losing your natural body's desire for sleep, you're waking yourself up, and you're going to find it really hard to get back to sleep. So it's absolutely true that lying in bed worrying about sleep is not going to help you sleep. And what you actually need to do, if you're having anxious thoughts, or you're feeling like, oh, it's been 20 minutes or so and I'm still not asleep and I'm starting to get a bit worried about it, what you really need to do is to get out of bed, but go and sit somewhere quiet and warm and relax. And then you can get back to bed again and you have a much better chance of going to sleep. So that's a bit of a sleep tip there, which I'm sure I'm going to repeat in a minute, but just to let you know, that's the rationale. Do not, you know, work is for work, planning is for during the day, learning Spanish is definitely for daytime, and keep sleep a time for, and the evenings a time for relaxation, rest and sleep. So let's look at our 3 insights. Practical, because a lot of sleep advice is very simple. And if you take the small steps and you apply them consistently over time, you actually get the results. And I know that simple doesn't necessarily mean easy. Changing habits isn't always easy, even if it's a small habit. But you need to stick with it, as in most things in life. So the first insight refers to this mindset. So what happens when you don't sleep well is that you have a big shift in mindset. And one of the biggest differences between somebody who sleeps well and somebody who has a lot of problems sleeping well is that they think about sleep differently. So somebody who sleeps well, they only ever think about getting sleep, you know, as it comes up to bedtime. And then it's very, you know, looking forward, you know, the anticipation, they're looking forward to getting into bed, reading, getting cozy, and they expect to sleep well. So sleep and getting into bed is a very positive thing for them. But the person who's struggling with sleep has a different mindset. And as you can see, the typical thought would be, oh, you know, it's bedtime in a minute. I just wonder whether I'm going to sleep tonight. I hope I do. Oh, I've got that thing to do tomorrow, that phone call to make. I want to be able to think straight. And the mindset is really different. And the person with sleep problems loses their self-confidence and starts to lose their lose their confidence that they can sleep well, and therefore the messages and the words that they use to think about their sleep and talk to themselves about sleep is very, very different. So as Vanessa was talking about earlier, if you change your mindset, it can have a big impact on sleep. So notice the kinds of thoughts you're having about sleep and try to just put it in a different context. Try to be a bit more positive by saying things like, well, let's just see, let's not anticipate it's going to be a bad night. Let me stay relaxed and see how it goes. So it's really important to kind of build that confident mindset again. The second insight is that sleep, as I've said, loves routine and consistency. And anybody who's got kids or looked after little ones, you know how much effort you or parents you're aware of put into getting babies and young children into a nice regular sleep routine. We do that whole thing, we're babies, we're getting them used to, going a bit longer between feeds. And then as they grow up, we go into this sort of toddler routine of they have their tea, then they have the bath, then they get into bed, and then they have the story, and then the lights off. So talking about routines, we do it usually for our kids, or we really try to do it for our kids. And so we have to have those same routines for ourselves. Predictable, calming routines that tell the body, this is where we're going, we're on the pathway to good sleep. So really important to have this regular routine where you get, 7 hours is about the minimum that you should be aiming for every night. And it's important that you think about, sleep isn't just about what happens in the evening, so and at night time. So think about your 24/7 habits, whether you're eating the right things, exercising enough, managing stress, not having too much caffeine. So, think about your sleep in a context, and then make sure you get into bed feeling nice and sleepy tired. So sleepy tired is when your mind and your body are ready for sleep. So that's where the routine, the bedtime routine, is important, that Vanessa-Mary was talking about, because you want your last hour or hour and a half before you get into bed, you want to use that to close off the working day, to unwired from wired tired, which is when your mind's busy, you might be feeling tired, but your mind's still active. Use that 60 to 90 minutes before you get into bed to get yourself sleepy tired, where your mind and body are relaxed. And that means prioritizing that time of day for sleep. And that means thinking carefully about what you watch on telly, what you listen to, the conversations you have. And I would definitely say, make sure you have a nice tech-free zone, because you might click open that email or check that WhatsApp message. And it may be something lovely that keeps you relaxed, but there's often stuff on social media that engages you again, either in a positive way, you start to get excited about a chit chat you're having with friends, or it can be a negative thing. So definitely tech-free in your last 60 to 90 minutes, so that you're parenting yourself and that you've got this pathway to relaxation and sleep. And my third tip, my third insight is, do not underestimate your bedroom. And also, if you've been working at home, bedrooms have become our offices. So your bedroom might have got cluttered with work stuff or stuff that doesn't belong in the bedroom. So it's really important to kind of look around your bedroom and think to yourself, okay, does everything in this room make this place a lovely, comfortable, relaxing space? It's the kind of space, like this lovely cat, it just lies down and just the room is inviting to sleep. So make sure you look round, and having a clean space, a space where your bed linen is comfortable, not too hot, not too cold, where you haven't got clutter, where you haven't got reminders of work or tasks or chores, is really, really important. And it can help you feel calm. And it can help you build that whole idea that the bedroom is a place that once you get into it, it's a place which is just waiting for you to relax and sleep. And the last point about that is clocks and phones and alarms. And I think it's really, really important to not have clocks available in the line of sight at night. Because, as you know, if you wake up at night and you're a little bit anxious about your sleep, the first thing you do is check your phone or your alarm. And if you see it's 3 o'clock in the morning, it's going to trigger anxious thoughts such as, oh, goodness me, I'm awake, here I go again, or, you know, it's getting light, I'll never get back to sleep again. So the main thing is really set your alarm if you need to, and then put the clock or the alarm or the phone out of sight, out of reach. And, you know, I do use my phone as an alarm, but I set it and I put it right the other side of the room. So I'd have to make a massive effort to get out of bed to check my phone and check the time. So they are my 3 insights. And I'm very happy to offer people a complimentary sleep analysis call. So if you do have some issues with sleep and you'd like the chance to have a complimentary call with me to check out anything, to see what's causing your sleep problem, then do, maybe Vanessa-Mary can put this link out later, do have a chat with me, do book a call. This link is straight to my diary, so you can just book a time to suit you. It's a really lovely conversation. I always really enjoy them, and I learn a lot as well as you will. And during that call, I'll ask you lots of questions about what's happening with your sleep. I'll certainly be, it's really important to me that people understand that, you know, if you have a serious sleep problem, it really doesn't have to stay that way. And lots of people get stuck with the thinking, you know, I've always been a bad sleeper. I've tried things that don't work for me. But actually, with the proper clinically based techniques we've got now, 5 weeks is all it takes, in my experience, to get someone sleeping really well again. So all my programs are 5-week programs. So it's really important to help people get that sense of optimism again and not stuck with suffering poor sleep, because it is a really miserable place. And then I'll be able at the end of the call to focus on exactly what needs to happen to rebuild a quality sleep habit, one that doesn't require medication, doesn't rely on sleeping medication, and one that's kind of healthy and something you take with you wherever you are, whether you're on holiday or staying somewhere else, or, you know, whether it's summer, winter, or whatever. So that's the end of my chat. I've got time, I hope, Vanessa-Mary, for questions. So shall I stop the share and you can share the links later?
Yeah. Thank you, Frances.
And then we can look at questions and people can ask me stuff if they'd like to.
Yeah, that was just fantastic. You touched on so many points that, you know, one of the things that I want to talk about first is the app situation. So I've got a Fitbit. Yes. As you know, I'm trying to look at my steps, but I always take it off at night because it's actually very comfortable to sleep with. So I agree with you. I'm not interested. When it was coming up, I first got it when the baby was breastfeeding. So you can imagine how awful the Fitbit was telling me, you are not sleeping. So I was like, no, that's not very good. So I don't use that at night. But yeah, thank you for that. And also the point you made about getting the little ones into a routine, it is so true. You know, we do put all this emphasis on they need to be in a routine, they need their sleep. And of course, my baby, well, he's 2 now, but he still has an afternoon nap. So we're very much in that routine with him around his quality of sleep. And I love the way how you said we need to parent ourselves. So that's going to stay with me. Thank you.
Yeah,
so
absolutely.
Does anybody have any questions or comments for Frances, please?
Oh, we've got lots of questions in the chat. Shall I go right to the top? Let me go down to the sleep one. So, all right. So Dorothy says, I wake up at 4 a.m. every day and have been doing the past year. So I'd ask, if Dorothy, you don't have to answer now, but the thing I would be asking you if we were on the call is this, do you get back to sleep again? Because waking up is completely normal. And in fact, as we get older, we wake up more and more. It's quite natural, you know, sleep cycles are designed that we have deep sleep and then we come up to the surface again, and that's when we're likely to wake up and then we go back down again. So waking up isn't a problem, it's how we respond to it. And if we wake up and we can stay really nice and relaxed, pop to the loo or whatever, and quickly get back to sleep, that's what we need. But waking up itself isn't a problem. I don't know whether Dorothy wants to ask anything, or shall I go through the other question?
I find that I wake up and then I feel as if I've slept enough, and then for the next few hours I just read or listen to the radio. But I don't feel like going back to sleep again. So that's a strange thing.
And how many hours do you think you get, Dorothy?
I go to bed about 11, so I'll probably get 5.
Yes.
Yeah.
I would say it was a bit on the light side.
Yes. Yeah.
Let me have a look at the other questions, because I want to make sure I get them through. The Fitbit, I've got that. I wake up a few times a day. This is, let me have a look at who's saying this. Oh, long one. This is Dorothy as well, is it? I wake up a few times a day. No, this is Louise. Is that right? Yeah.
Yeah. Hi, Louise.
Yeah. Hi, Louise. I wake up a few times. I get through the day if not at work, but if at work. Okay. So you wake up a lot in the night time. Is that what you're saying?
Yeah, because of menopause.
Yeah, the menopause has a big impact on our sleep because of the hot flashes. Yeah. And yeah, that's hard. So, but again, the thing is, of course, it will, the sleep does get disturbed through the menopause. There's massive hormonal changes going on. But the thing is to stay really calm and relaxed when you wake up.
Yeah, I do.
That's good.
I like I say, I usually put a meditation on if I can't get back to sleep after about half an hour, and that really works. This morning I put Yoga Nidra on, which is really deep, and I went back to sleep I woke up at 7:30, I went back to sleep about 8 till about 11, and then till 12 because I was shattered from going back to work yesterday.
Oh wow. Yeah, and I suppose what I'd be advising you to is to get your sleep into a regular pattern as possible, rather than
it is. Well, it has been, because I've been off work for a few months with an ankle injury, and although it's been regular, I've been going to bed late at night and waking up early, and I've been fine with that because I've been off work, but I've been getting about 6 hours. That's okay while I'm off, but yeah, it's been all right. But when at work, I need about 8.
Definitely. And go through the menopause, you'll need more as well, because so much is happening. Sounds like you're doing the right thing. Just keep trying to get more than 6.
Yeah.
So it's about prioritizing sleep and make sure we've got enough time for it.
Well, I need to go to bed earlier, but I've tried that and it doesn't really work. Even it's quite embarrassing to say, and some people will understand and some won't, but my normal bedtime is about 2 in the morning, and I wake up about 8 and I get up about 9 or 10. But that's normal for me. If I go out earlier, I can't sleep.
Yes, I think there's a conversation to be had about shifting that a lot earlier. And
it only works if I do morning shifts at work, and then it's a lot earlier.
Yeah. It sounds like there's quite a lot of inconsistency.
Yeah.
I'll let me just check the other questions, Louise. But book a call if you'd like to dig into that a little bit more.
Okay.
Can I just pick up on that while you're looking? Because I know Louise is in the medical profession, and so is my daughter. So we're talking about anyone who has these shift patterns.
Yes.
That can be really disruptive for the body clock, isn't it?
Oh, yeah. Shift work isn't great. So, Louise, are your shifts irregular, though? Sometimes you're up early and...
Yes, but I've been off for 5 months with an ankle injury, so it can't be the shifts, can it? It's got to be me.
I think shift work is really difficult. Yes, you're right.
Yeah, shift work really makes it worse, and that's why to be honest, I had work yesterday till 6:15. Then I went out on my bike to a meeting. Then I came back. Then I let my friend come around till 10 o'clock, and I should have called it off at 9 o'clock or 9:30. Yeah. So that affected it. Then I laid down. I was shattered. Then I called a friend, and then I went to bed late, even though I was shattered. So I do that.
Yeah. So I think, you're absolutely right. We've got to create that opportunity for sleep and really protect it. Protect it. Don't let anyone kind of get in on it. And sometimes as women, it could be hard to say no, no to a friend. But I think that's what I meant about prioritizing it and keep it as regular as possible. If you wake up, keep really relaxed so that you quickly go back to sleep. With the menopause, you're going to wake up a lot. and it will settle down again, but it's really important not to, you know, it's the fact that you've got into this pattern of staying up really late, that can be changed, but it has to be changed over time, and it can be a little bit hard to change it at first, but you've just got to start moving your bedtime a bit earlier, maybe not massively earlier, but 15 minutes for 15 minutes at a time can work. Do it really gradually, rather than, you know, I'm going to change it from 2 o'clock in the morning till 11 in one fell swoop. Your body won't like that. I think I've got all the questions, haven't I? So I'm happy if there anyone else wants to just chip in.
I just got a final one, and it's about our life expectancy, because there is a famous book. I really cannot remember the name of the author, but it's a sleep expert. I think he's like a scientist or doctor or something, and he wrote this book. It was they were talking about it.
Was it Matthew Walker, Why We Sleep?
I think that sounds right in the title. Yeah. And in that he speaks about, I mean, I haven't read it, but this is what they were saying on the radio, that he was talking about how if you don't get enough sleep, it can actually reduce your life expectancy.
I'm afraid that is the case. That is the case. I mean, I sometimes hold off with saying how much impact lack of sleep can have, because if you're not sleeping well, it's not exactly, you know, it can frighten people, I suppose, and frighten them to the extent that they don't want to then take action. They just get a bit, you know, rabbit in the headlights with it. But definitely it will have an impact, and it's even been linked to the onset of dementia, because during sleep the brain does a clearing, you know, the toxins get removed from the brain. So if you're getting chronic short sleep, those toxins don't get removed, and we think they contribute to the build-up of the plaques that are associated with dementia. So yeah, there's the massive impacts, and I think for so many years we just kind of thought of sleep as something that we did, you know, it wasn't that important, but it's as important as everything else we do in our lives.
Wow, well, that was a powerful note to end on, wasn't it? We need to protect our bedtime at all costs. So thank you so much, Frances.
You're most welcome.
What I'm going to do, I know that we have had some entries for the raffle, but you can still, there's still time if anybody wants to enter. What I'm going to do is I'm just going to put, I think you've disabled it. Have you disabled the share, Frances?
Oh, I don't know how to make you host again. I'm not sharing now.
I think, do I just take it off now?
Avanch,
You're still
you just have to take it back now.
No, I can't, because you're the host. Can you see the participant list at the bottom? You should be able to.
Oh yeah.
If you click on my name.
Oh, I can change.
Yeah, if you click on my name and go down, it will make
host. That's it.
Brilliant,
Thank you.
Thank you.
I know how to do that now. I never knew how to do that.
You're glad you came.
Because I have learned quite a lot, actually. Not just about health and well-being.
Can you see my screen okay, everyone? Has it come up all right? Okay, brilliant. So what I like to do, and I did post the link to Frances's consultation into the chat for those of you that are here with us live. If you're not and you're watching the replay, then this is the link to Frances's website, and I will put the link underneath the recording. And so it's time for us to say a massive thank you to Frances to sharing that knowledge. I mean, as I said in the interview, and we only did it on Tuesday, so I do need to circulate it widely and get more people learning about Frances's journey, because there's many things that we've revealed in that interview, which was just nice to know about Frances. But yeah, check the interview out when I circulate it. But also remember, we have got the raffle as well. So do we want a break, or do we want me to go straight in? How's everyone feeling?
Is it okay if I is it okay if I wish you, love you and leave?
Yeah, of course, of course.
I'm going to go to my tea now.
And she's going to bed because Frances has got a fantastic sleep routine.
Go to bed.
A little bit disruptive, Vanessa-Mary, I'm afraid to say. And I'm a morning person, so working in the evening just really does my head in. But I've enjoyed it, I have to say. Thank you very much. And it's been lovely to have the comments and the interest. So thank you very much. And I hope that I can help people further. So just get in touch if I can. And thank you very much, Vanessa-Mary. I'm going to leave you to it, and the rest. I'm sure the rest of it is lovely, but I think I need to go and get myself to bed soon.
Yeah, not a problem, Frances. You take care. Thank you so much.
Thank you very much indeed. Bye for now. Bye.
Bye. Thank you.
Bye-bye.
Am I okay to carry on, or do you need a comfort break for those of you who are here?
You can carry on as far
Okay.
as I'm concerned.
So it says welcome back. You've not been anywhere. So I will do the raffle, but as you know, it's slightly later. So, oh, one moment. Just got a text there. Okay. Mark's actually asking me to just go and check on Zenta for a minute. So if you don't mind, I am just going to pause and just make sure everything's okay.
Can I ask what time we're finishing, please?
It's 9:30. We're not here much longer. Okay, just nip upstairs. One moment. Thank you.
Hey, thanks.
Okay, everything's okay. Zenta's sleeping, but I did notice he felt a bit warm earlier on, so Mark was just a bit concerned. So he is slightly warm, but he's sleeping, so just keep our eye on him. All right then. I think Louise has just stepped away, so we'll carry on. Where are we now? So it's paused. Okay, resume. Let's resume share. Right, pause recording. Zoom recording. Thing is, though, I think it might be in two different halves. I don't know. We'll see how it turns out. Oh dear. I hope it's not in two different halves again. Right, okay, so we're back. I had to go and check my little one. He is sleeping, but his dad just wanted me to check on him. Hopefully I've got a complete recording and not in two different halves. So let's do the icebreaker. I just want to hear about a problem that you've solved this year. So if you manage to do that exercise, looking about your success, it might be linked to that. Does anybody want to share at all, please? gone quiet.
I've had kind of lots of little ones, but yeah, I think my main problem was like I took early retirement last year, so I've been wondering how to manage my time this year and working out goals.
Brilliant. Well done. You've literally just come back, Louise. I was just
Yeah.
saying that I was hoping that I haven't messed up the recording because I put it on pause, but I think I messed it up.
Now.
Yeah, but it happened once before where I pressed the wrong button, then ended up with two different halves of the session.
Yeah.
But
I've seen that one. Yeah.
did you see it? Oh, well, at least you watched it.
It's quite exciting waiting for the next one.
I mean, Louise, I mean, for us, we've been chatting for a while, so it's fantastic to put a face to your name. Welcome. I'm sorry to hear that you had this, you said you'd hurt your ankle.
I fractured my ankle and I've been off work for 5 months. I tried to go back in April, but it didn't work out. 2 days and it was really painful. So yeah, it's a lot better now, but it's still not 100%. It's clicking all the time and just worry what it's going to be like long term. I'm trying not to worry and just, it is getting a lot better.
Oh, well, I wish you all the best of that. And welcome onto the call, Layla. Wonderful to have you here. We've had a wonderful session, but when you have chance, hopefully you'll watch the replay for Francis's wonderful talk it was. Okay, so let's move on. Oops, right, so this is about transformation. So it is about the physical transformation that you can see with the images here. And I'm just going to share my journey does touch on a physical transformation, but I would like you to think about this in the context of my, what I would say, mental growth and also spiritual growth as well. So you cannot see this, all right? So just looking at, my eating habits, they were terrible. I didn't eat properly when my older offspring were having, just that teenage life. We were all over the place with the cooking. And I wasn't eating the right foods. Can I just check that you can see the screen? Because I'm getting another, it said your screen sharing is paused. Can you see the screen at all?
Yeah, but the chat's in the way and I'm trying to move the chat out the way and it won't move.
Up to the top. Has that made a difference? It said I could.
I've got the people at the top. Just can't move the chat.
Does everybody else see it okay? Yeah, it might be
I can see it.
Okay, it might be your angle there, Louise. But we know that you are what you eat. So I wasn't eating properly. I had low energy levels, even though I was exercising, doing the bike riding, doing salsa and doing, what else was I doing at the time? There's something else. I can't even remember. It seems a lot. Oh, netball. That was it. I was doing a lot of netball. So it did. Yeah, I loved it. I can't wait. It's called like Back to Netball. So it's actually encouraging women to keep up with that activity, and it's a lot of fun as well, and age is no restriction as well in that. So I did drop 2 dress sizes. And now, let me just put it into context I know that it's lovely to have you all on the call as regulars. So I know you've heard this story more than once, but you always sit there patiently. So you're hearing it for the first time. So I do give thanks for that. But for those of you who don't know me and you're watching the replay, I just want to put it in perspective that I do the lifestyle coaching part-time, which involves distributing Herbalife products. And I am still working. So when Francis spoke about sleep, I know I need to prioritize my sleep because I'm trying to cram. I mean, even today, I will hold my hands up. And if any of you read, I think you're all on my email list. So you've read that email, and that's written from the heart. I know that my work-life balance needs sorting out. But thankfully, I do have energy. I have energy to get through everything. So they always say, how come you get through all of this stuff that you're doing? And I know it's because I've fixed my nutrition. So I've got a healthy, active lifestyle. I've got the nutrition. I take the regular exercise and I work on my mindset development. But I will agree with Francis. There's some things that I'm doing, which is like mindset development, but I'm doing it at the wrong time of the day. And it's getting to the point where I'm like, no, I'm not getting rid of anything, but what I will be seeking is asking for help. So I really want you to consider this in your life. If there's something where you feel like, yeah, things are going well, but actually, could I be doing this better? If you need help, then, reach out for the relevant person there. So we're talking about health hacks because this is what I like to share with you. We're on macros. Look how much we've covered. So for those of you who've been on the last 7 episodes or you've watched the replay, hopefully I've educated you on different aspects of your body. But the macros are important. Just a quick question. Are you providing your body with the vitamins and minerals it requires to help it function at its optimal capacity? Now, we do hear the saying, you need your 5 pieces of fruit and vegetables a day. Mark did actually comment today how the price of bananas have gone up. So, for some people, it sounds a bit of an odd thing, but he did. He was like, oh, the bananas have gone up. But, for some people in our house, because I'm a vegetarian and I've cut fish out now, having,
Vegan as well.
I'm not going to say I'm a vegan because I do like, it's just a tiny bit of cheese, tiny. Eggs, I love eggs, but not all the time eat eggs. So I'm not putting myself in that category, but yeah. It was mainly about parasites, to be fair. Yeah. And I might be bringing a specialist on to talk about parasites. So that will be one for us. In fact, actually, my last speaker touched on parasites slightly, but I want someone who's really going to dig deep on the parasites. But anyway, in terms of the vitamins and the minerals, we do get them from fruit and vegetables. But what I want you to appreciate, particularly for vegetables, the soil quality has changed over the last 50 years. Now, you do know that some farmers, not all, if you're going to an organic farmer, they are actually trying to get more out of the soil. So back 50 years ago, they would actually have a period of rest before the next planting season and harvest, plus all of the what we would call pesticides and different chemicals that are being put onto these vegetables. It does actually reduce the quality of the vitamins and minerals. There is a study that shows that in, like an apple, to get the same amount of vitamins that you'd get from the apple, in today's quality, you'd need to eat more than one for the day. So things have changed. But I just wanted to share with you, so there's 2 different types of micros. There's water-soluble micros and there's also fat-soluble. So let's just talk about some of these vegetables that we can eat. So we've got green leafy vegetables, which will give you a great source of vitamin C, which is great for your immune health. Repairing those tissues, you want to keep active, your immune system active. Then you've got vitamin A in your green leafy vitamins. And what you were going to get from that is it's going to help with growth development and again boosting that immune system. Vitamin K, which is good for blood coagulation, which actually relates to bone health. So we covered bone health here. Then you've got colourful vegetables. Let me just put the photograph back actually so it matters. We've got colourful vegetables. So you can see the red peppers in there, cauliflower, broccoli, carrots, and all those types of things. Now your fruits and your berries are giving you vitamin A and C. And your nuts and seeds, don't forget about these because these are great for antioxidants like vitamin E and micronutrients like selenium and also magnesium. So we need a nice mix. So let's just talk about the water-soluble micronutrients. So these vitamins So we've got vitamin B, B2 and B3 would be classed as water soluble. They are readily absorbed in the watery environment of the digestive tract. Now, we did cover the digestive tract last month, and I want you to appreciate how large your digestive system actually is. I listened to something this week which gave an approximation that you'd be talking about the size of, it did say a tennis, yeah, he said a tennis, did he say a tennis court? It was massive anyway. It's really, really large, just because it's all kind of squashed up in your body. Okay, now other soluble fact here, these vitamins are not storing in your body, so you need to consume them rather daily. So that's anything where you're getting your B vitamins. Now, fat soluble micronutrients are the vitamins that are requiring, sorry, I've gone across the screen, small amounts of dietary fat so that you can absorb them. So we're looking at vitamin A, vitamin D, and vitamin E. And your body has the ability to store a limited amount of these types of vitamins. So realistically, you know, if you think about how many vitamins and minerals your body needs, you have to make sure that you have got that colorful plate. Like I said, get your nuts and seeds in there as well. Now, I've chosen what I could have told you about, and I'm going to mention it here anyway, is we've got a vitamin and mineral complex. Herbalife do this, and this is a complex for women. It's actually helping with hormone activity. It's an energy metabolism boost. It gives you a boost for your bone health and your skin health. So I'm going to talk about that anyway, because supplementation, like I said, the quality of the fruits and vegetables, particularly vegetables, has deteriorated in terms of the vitamins over the course of time. So always having a boost from supplementation is great. But I've chosen Niteworks as the spotlight for the month. And the reason why is this actually does sit nicely with the talk that we've had from Frances. Now, as you can see, Niteworks itself actually does contain a high amount of vitamin C in it and vitamin E.
Niteworks, because I haven't got the screen up. It's not my
Oh,
screen.
it's not coming up.
No.
Okay, I'm just going to stop that share a minute. Let's have a look. Hi, Layla. Lovely to see you, darling. Let's try it there. Is that coming up now?
Yeah.
Ah, I knew something wasn't right, because it gave me a different message. Sorry about that, Louise. Right. You missed some wonderful photographs of vegetables.
Yeah, the vegetables.
I think you've seen them before. Okay, so this is called Niteworks. It's got a high amount of vitamin C and E. It's going to protect your cells from oxidative stress. And we get oxidative stress really from living this life that we live, you know. And it's got lemon balm. Now, this product, it actually is protecting your cardiovascular health. And it improves the blood vessels. So the flow of the blood, it kind of cleans up your blood vessels. So in terms of helping you to sleep, you will get a better night's sleep if you are struggling. So if this is something that you're wanting to know more about, if you're watching the replay, there is the link there for my shop. So you go on my shop and you will find this product, and I'm going to post the link in the comment for those of you who are on the chat. But
Yes, questions now or at the end?
You can ask me a question now.
I'm quite interested in the L-arginine, because somebody told me about it helps menopause.
I don't know. I'm not going to say yes or no to that, because it's not something that I was looking at. But I definitely know that this particular product, it is used by it's definitely used by sports people, because they're wanting to get, you know, if you've got better blood flow, it helps you with your performance.
Amino acid,
yeah. And it actually has, it helps with the production of something called NO, which is nitric, I can't remember what it's
Nitric
called.
oxide.
Nitric oxide,
Yeah.
that's it. So yeah, it's a great product. And one last thing about this product is it's been produced by a Nobel laureate. So the man who came up with this formula, he has got a Nobel laureate for his study in the NO and in heart health. So it's a fantastic product. All right, so my thing's going a bit thing there. So Francis told you about we need to sort out the evening routine. As you know, I love to talk about your overall health and well-being. So we cover different things in that conversation. I'm going to post the link for the health MOT for those of you that are on the call. And again, if you're watching the replay, you will be able to get a link to that as well. It is a complimentary conversation. You don't have to work with me. You can take the information if you want and make improvements. You will get something out of that call. If you're actually touching on things that you think that actually, Vanessa, I believe that you will be able to help me with a particular product, then we can talk about that in that conversation. Now, let's do the raffle. Wow. So I've only got 2 entries. Oh dear. So I know it's not a see-through bowl. I normally, well, actually, what happened with the see-through glass jar? I dropped it. I've smashed it. So it's not a see-through one, but I promise I'm not cheating. I'll take it like this. So you can see it's been a random choice. And it goes to Louise.
Oh, thank you.
Oh, I bet you're glad you came now. And based on what you were saying in that conversation, Louise, you know, I feel that you'd benefit from that course. And, you know, book in with Francis for the complimentary consultation. And yeah, and as I said, I really do empathize with those of you who do shift work. So yeah, congratulations. I will get those details over to you. Now, going back to that online wellness evaluation, if you wanted to get started with me, what we do is a 6-day breakfast club, because a lot of people's health issues is related to their breakfast. And again, it's all about routine. In that, you will have some more education on nutrition. And as I said, it comes after you've had a free health MOT. So that was the end of this evening's Health and Wellbeing Cafe. I hope that you've enjoyed being with us. Before I let you go, I want to do an announcement. This is something that I'm very excited about. I've already said I've got too much to do, but what's Vanessa doing? I am getting ready to celebrate my success and the success of those of you who've been on this journey with me for the last year. And this is your invitation to my first virtual health summit. I don't have a name for the health summit yet, but what will happen is it's going to take place in November. You can see maybe some familiar faces at the bottom if you've either watched the replay or you've been on the calls. I do have speakers confirmed, so we've got those 4 wonderful women. We've got Susie Wellstead, emotional wellbeing coach. We've got Victoria, who does the body code emotional coaching as well. We've got Victoria's mum, Madeline, who does a whole range of holistic therapies. And then we've got Denise, who does the emotional fitness coaching. So we've got our emotions sorted. I'm waiting for those speakers who you've heard from and others that you haven't heard yet. I'm giving them an invitation to appear on this. So it is a virtual summit. Because you have been following this progress either on the live or watching the replay, I'm going to be putting early bird tickets out very soon, very low cost, and you're going to get a fantastic offer just a small fee, just to help me with the admin, actually, so I'm not carrying all of the work. So I hope you want to be a part of that. Now, thinking ahead, July is just around the corner. So we start in July next Thursday. But we also have our last Health and Wellbeing Cafe before the summer break. Okay, so I need a break and I'm taking August off, and maybe you've got holiday plans, so we take August off. So we're going to have a session which is about sound healing. So we're going to be back here on Zoom, and I've got a fantastic guest speaker. Her name's Helen. I'm sorry, I don't have a photograph yet, but she's a beautiful, wonderful woman. And you can see from the description the different types of sound healing that she does. So it's energy cleansing and balancing. It is, sorry, my screen's over this. It's, if you do affirmations, you can calibrate the sound of your affirmations. It's the mindset. So obviously, you know that Helen and I get on because it's all about mindset and empowering lots of different people to get in tune with their mind. She does the remote healing as well, but the sound healing will be fantastic. So come along, and I'm sure that her talk is going to be very different from maybe the talks that you've been experiencing with me over the last 7 months. So thank you so much for being here and for supporting the live call. For those of you that are watching the replay, please leave a comment, and also give me a thumbs up if you love the content that you've seen. And if you haven't subscribed to the channel, please subscribe to the channel, and don't forget to share. If you could share the content with somebody that you care about, you might help them with their sleep. You might help them to basically boost their intake of micronutrients, and you'd also be helping my channel to grow, because I want to reach more people. I've got a big vision, but I can only achieve that by being introduced to wonderful people like you and the people you know. All right then, so I'm stopping the share, and this will be the end of the recording. So if you're watching the replay, it's goodbye from us. Thank you.